Hey, my friend. Yeah, you. It's Paul, Personal Development Unplugged podcast. And this is where we're going to dive into all sorts of blooming stuff to make personal development simple, easy to follow. Deconstruct, I think the term is deconstruct the complicated, to make things easy for ourselves, because I can't do complicated. I really can't. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, call it the foundation of change work, because I often get questions like this in either from clients or different forums and Q&As. And the question is, what's the best hypnosis track for, and you fill in the blank? Or what's the best process I can use for fill in the blank? And that even comes from therapists as well, which is quite weird. They should know about cause and effect. Deal with the cause and then you'll find the process. Or you even get people would say, I'm struggling with my mental health. What the bloody hell is mental health? It's so vague, isn't it? So bloody vague. I'm struggling with my mental health. Now, I sympathise, I really do. I want to be compassionate. I am compassionate about it. So I want to help you. That's why I do this podcast. But struggling with your mental health is vague. And for each one of those things, you need to get more specific in the type of help that you want, the type of things that you're having issues with. And there's a place for all of that in personal development. And here, I hope to provide you the best things that I can offer you to find the best solutions to mental health, processes, hypnosis tracks, but real fundamentals of personal change work so you can be the best version of yourself. Letting go of things like OCD, depression, anxiety, fear, all that type of... Well, they're just behaviours, by the way. They're just behaviours, and that's why we can change behaviours, and we just find the cause. But here's the thing. Let's look at what you can do right now for your mental health without a hypnosis track, without a process, without anything other than, I think, some people call them pillars, some people call them legs of a blooming table. I just think it's a foundation, and it comes in three things. They're joined together. You can't have one without the other, really. Not if you really want to make the best version of yourself and be the best version and enjoy the best version of yourself. And that's not all about having mental health issues. You can be absolutely superbly fine in yourself, but you want to make a better version of yourself, because we can. So I want to talk about today, in this episode, I want to dive into the three things that are really good for your mental health, for things such as anxiety, unconfidence. And the three things are these: sleep, food, and movement. Well, that's nothing to do with hypnosis and processes and NLP. I know. But if you aren't getting the right amount of sleep, and if you're not eating a reasonable diet, I'm not talking about super healthy, but a reasonable diet, and you're not moving, then you've got to get that right. That's a foundation. Because if you might be eating right, you might be moving, but if you're not sleeping right, then obviously your movement's going to suffer. And when your movement suffers and you get sluggish and you think, oh, sod it, I'll just eat a little bit more of that comfort food. But here's the thing. I'm not a bloody sleep doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. And I'm certainly not a PT, personal trainer. So I'm going to talk to you about sleep, food and movement, because that's what I want to tell you, because they just work. And you see, as I said, they're all joined. So you have to, each one will affect the other. And therefore, we really have to look at all three together. Because you just work on one, the other two will fail, or the other two will flounder a little bit. So we need to keep topping them up and noticing the areas of where we really need to look at things. If you're always tired, I've been there. I feel so tired today. Oh, I've been to the gym. Didn't really do much though. I let myself off. Didn't do an awful lot. And do you know what? I came back and had a cake with my coffee. And I've just done nothing. And you see, you can see each one of those will affect the other. And I think they're pretty simple to get right, or not necessarily perfect, because nothing is perfect, but you can work on each. And as you're working on each of those three, to get a better balance, then if there is anything that you're suffering from, and call it a mental health issue, such as anxiety, fear, unconfidence, OCD, you name it, imposter syndrome, all that stuff, then you're in a better place to be able to work in and on that stuff. And that's when things like the hypnosis tracks and the processes just work so much better. So let's have a look. Sleep. I told you I'm not a sleep doctor, because there's loads of bloody podcasts out there on sleep and interviewing sleep doctors. And what happens to your sleep when you're suffering from anxiety? Or, well, you name it, anything else like that. Well, your sleep suffers and you have to do something about it. So you need, basically, you can listen to all the podcasts, yeah, but what does it come down to? Getting a regime. And no excuse. All of these are no excuses, by the way. You can't give an excuse. Well, I can't do it because, there's... No, you need that solid regime just to get back on track. And once you get back on track, you'll create a lovely routine for yourself that works for you. So no excuses. So things like coffee before you go to bed. Oh, no, you're going to get the people who go, oh, it doesn't affect me. I don't care whether it doesn't affect you. Just cut it out. Do the best you can for yourself. Turn the lights down a little bit before you go to bed. Just slowly start to bring things down. And yeah, occasionally you're going to have late nights, but look to hit that bedtime at the right time. Oh, and you're going to go, oh, Paul, this is a bit boring now. No, it's only boring because you're going to end up being boring if you don't do these type of things. Because say you're going to suffer with those anxiety, the fears, they're going to come and get you. Now, if you've got your health, as in sleeping health, you're going to be more equipped for the day and the waking day. And imagine when you sleep, that's when you recharge, when your unconscious mind starts to sort things out for you. So give it the best opportunity you can by going to sleep at the same time. Getting a regime that works for you. Turn up, nearly swore, that phone off. Why do you want to look at a phone before you go to bed? Why do you need it by your bedside? And if you do need it by your bedside, just as a clock, put it on aeroplane mode. Just so you've got the clock. That's all you need. But better still, buy yourself a bloody clock. You don't need then the phone. The phone could be right over there, out of the way. So get yourself into the best habit you can get of sleeping. And say, there's loads of advice out there. And this is just the thing I'm just trying to say. Get that. This is a pillar, a foundation of health. So I'm not a sleep doctor, but those are the type of things that they're going to advise. But just go and search, research that works best for you. And ideally, I'm going to say this, don't take the pills. You don't need pills for so much stuff. That's my thought anyway. I'm not a doctor, all that stuff, but So, and when you wake up, try to wake up at the same time. Don't hit that snooze button. I'm really, can you feel that I want to swear? But don't hit that snooze button. Maybe just before you go to sleep, you want to breathe. Just set up a little breathing pattern. just to bring you down. And it's all like a little pattern interrupter of some sort to tell your unconscious mind, not this, but now we're going to rest. It's time for rest. If you've got things on your mind, write them down, stick them out of the way. And so you're going to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time, and then you're hitting stuff. Maybe a little meditation before you go to bed. But that's like breathing, a little breathing routine. So there you go. And it might take a little time. It might. But what you got to do is this one thing. This is one thing you have to do, is do that. Work on your sleep. That's all you have to do. Work on your sleep. And you're going to start to prepare yourself for the waking day. Because that's where you live your life up, really, isn't it? So 2/3 of your life could be sleep. So get that right. Continue to work on it. And once you get it, you get it. So here comes my nutritionist. Because I'm not one. But here's the thing, and I really, really have trouble with this. And I've actually got a little reminder for myself now every day: drink more water. Like we're talking about sort of diet, but it's not just food. It's just the way that what you consume in food and drink. So, can you drink a little bit more water? Can you cut out more of the processed food? Very difficult to knock it all out, isn't it? Because it's bloody nice sometimes, isn't it? Oh yeah, but can we knock it out? Maybe treat ourselves, fine. But a treat is a treat for being so good on all the other stuff. And then your unconscious mind seems to say, well, I don't mind this, call it not hardship, is it? Eating healthy, if I'm going to get that nice little treat on a Sunday. Whatever it is, that little time that you just say, okay, it's time to treat ourselves. Because that's fine, because I'm going to go back to that stuff. Maybe you could fast. And there's loads, again, there's podcasts on all of this, isn't there? There's books on it, everything you can think of. Good, sensible nutritional advice. Find it. Fasting, I believe fasting is great because you're eating at the same times in that little window of time and your body adjusts so well. And I think if you have eating issues, because some of these will, when you're doing this, you're going to notice when you have difficulties with this, that's the area of your life to work on. So maybe I'm having trouble go back to the sleep because I'm getting anxious about stuff. So now I'm going to make a note. I'm going to work on that anxiety as well as my sleep. That particular area of anxiety. Not just anxiety, but I'm anxious about X. So I'm going to work on that. What's causing me to feel anxious? Let me find a way, but keep concentrating on that sleep. And the same with food. You might find this part of my life is a real difficulty for me. I'm really stuck on the sweet stuff, that sugar stuff. Ooh, love the sugar. Now people call it sugar addiction, but I have real trouble with addictions. Because if you call them behaviours, which is all it is, you're eating more sugar. It's a behaviour to eat sugar. Yeah, it goes inside and does that stuff. But if you change behaviours, because we can all change your behaviour, especially with things like hypnosis, because we can change your behaviour, find better behaviours to put in place of the old behaviours that are healthy, safer, your unconscious mind will take them on board. But it's finding then the right process and hypnosis track to do that. But now you've narrowed that down because you're now saying it's maybe that sugar or maybe it's that alcohol. Maybe I'm smoking a little bit, and that's because some people, believe it or not, and I think I've done it before when I used to smoke a long, long time ago, is instead of having dinner, you'd have a couple of cigarettes. And people still do that, don't they? To keep their weight off. Now, how crazy is that? But it's just another behaviour in place of another behaviour. And you see, I will go into things like eating disorders on longer podcasts, be more specific than that. But at least if you find that this is the area in my life, yeah, I can go to the gym, I can get my night's sleep, but I'm really struggling with this food thing or this drink thing. I'm now narrowing my focus of attention to what needs to be done. And it's just on these foundations of bringing that out into the open. You may You may even know about it anyway. You probably do. But it's got to really highlight it. And see, none of this is bloody rocket science. When you do it, just, you don't have to get a keto diet and all that stuff. That is science. But this isn't rocket science. This is just common bloody sense. You're fueling your body for health. You're fueling your body for a good night's sleep. You're not eating just before you go to sleep. You're eating at the right time so your digestion goes and does all the stuff, whatever it's supposed to do, all that stuff. I don't know. But it's common sense, isn't it? So maybe I'm a doctor of common sense. I like to think I've got a little bit of that. But no excuses again. No excuses. Don't give yourself excuses. Oh, I'm addicted. Because then, no, we're going to work on that. Or I'm big boned. Or my whole family's like this. What do you think? Is my DNA? No, sod it. We will change it. But you have to have the will to do whatever it takes. That's what it's all about. Because if you haven't got the will to do whatever it takes, then, no bothering. What? You shouldn't even be here, to be fair. But I say that only as much as everyone's got the will to do whatever it takes. So you should be here. Because we're going to find the thing that opens up the door. The doors are always ajar. It's just waiting for you to go through it. But it's a matter of finding the right door. And this is what we're doing. Looking at foundations and looking at areas that come up and go, this is where I'm struggling a bit more than the other areas. This is to work on now. So you have a plan. You plan your intake of fuel, basically. You schedule it. Yeah, it's a bit anal. But when you go to those type of lengths, then you will follow them, mark them off. That's what I have to do with my water. I got this little book. It's got little squares in for every day of the week, and I have to colour each one when I drink a glass of water. So I can see when I'm not drinking water, because I was getting moaned at, certainly by my son all the time. Dad, you're not drinking enough water. Dad, you're not drinking water. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm drinking my tea, drinking my coffee. But he's right. My other son's right. He taught me this lesson of just marking in this little box. And that's addictive. And that's a good addiction, though, because addictions can be good as long as it's leading to the right way. So I mark off every day. At least I got one square marked into 4, and I colour in each quarter every time I take a good glass of water. Now that may be not enough, but it's 4 times more than I was drinking before. I'm sure that's going to do me good in the long run. And also what tends to happen, I think, is once you start looking at, say, one part of your diet, your food intake, let's call it this fueling. Once you start looking at one, you become more aware of the other things. I remember a long time ago, there used to be this diet, this 600 calorie diet. I think it was like every other day you would restrict yourself to 600 calories. Now, that was so boring for me. I couldn't find the right type of food. But I pushed it for a little while, kept pushing and pushing to do it. But what it did do, and I even look at it now, that when I'm looking at food, I'm looking at the calories and thinking, ooh, that's a meal. Is that the right thing to take into my body as fuel instead of a proper balanced meal with vegetables and meat? And if you're vegetarian, vegetables, you know what I mean. And if you're vegan, I don't know what you eat. I'm not. I don't know these things. But you know what I mean. You start, one thing spreads to other things. It's like, when you have an issue, it starts in one place and it spreads to other areas of your life. It just does that way. So, but when you get a solution, that solution then spreads into other areas of your life. And this does the same thing. Once you focus on one, you find the areas, but you also become aware of other areas in that genre. Call it the fuel genre. And then exercise. And again, I'm not a PT, personal trainer or anything like that, but I go to the gym regularly because, again, no excuses. No excuses like, oh, I haven't got time. You've all got bloody time. Oh, I can't go to the gym because I don't know what to do, and I don't know what gym to go to, and I need someone to go with me. Bloody excuses. You need none of that at all. I love going to the gym and I love going by myself, but that's just me. I know other people like to go to the gym because there's groups. They go into, the group things on the spin bikes and the yoga. That's awesome. Whatever floats your bloody boat. But you go. I'm too big. I'm too overweight at the moment. Oh, I haven't got enough energy. Oh, I'm too small. No, they're all bloody excuses. You can adjust the way you do it. I mean, it's all about movement, I think. I was told when I hurt my back a long time ago, motion is lotion, Paul. You have to move. And that was really painful, but you have to move. So think about motion is lotion to get you feeling better. So what's the first thing you could do without the gym, without all the wonderful trainers, the gear and everything like that? You've got 2 feet. Go walk. You're moving. If you walk at a little bit of a pace, you'll start breathing a little different. You just do it. If you do it with the right intention, you can do it not only just for exercise, but to see the bloody world, to notice other people. You could actually go out and go, I'm walking, but I'm just going to notice how wonderful life is. I'm going to look at the architecture. I'm just going to look at the sky. I'm going to look for animals. Look for things which are of beauty. And it makes that walk an experience. And a nice experience. You look forward to it the next time. If it's too cold, wrap up. What a wonderful, caring bit of advice. Wrap up. But yeah, you can wrap up. Oh, it's raining. You can put wet clothes. I don't really want you to go out and get soaking wet and things like that, but we need to find time. But you could do something at home then. You don't need a gym. You go to YouTube, there's plenty of body weight bloody videos to do gentle things, and they tend to go, here's your beginners, here's your middle, here's your professional, all that stuff. Or you can just join a gym, but set yourself a little target. My dad, bless him, he's 90. And his walking is good, and we had a little bit of problem with his legs. So we did a little walking thing. And he would walk maybe just 10 yards. But the next day, he would walk 11. Because you can always do one more yard, can't you? One more pace. And the next day would be 12. And before you knew it, he forgot to count because he started walking. Now, he's not walking miles, but he's walking further than most 90-year-olds. He's awesome. Even then, and this is how it changes, because when it gets wet and cold, he doesn't want to go out walking. And why would you when you're that old? Or why would you when you're any age? He bought a walking machine for himself. Indoor one. How awesome is that? So, no excuses. No excuses. And it's really just a matter of setting up a simple routine again. Because when you set up your routine, you know what you're going to do, you just get it done. And here's the thing. You see people, very rarely see a runner who's smiling, do you? I hate running, but you don't, do you? But the thing is, people think, well, I don't enjoy going to the gym. I don't enjoy the exercise. Guess what? 95% of people don't enjoy the exercise. They don't enjoy it. It's not pleasant. Sometimes going through where you're out of breath a bit. Your legs hurt. You're stretching. I really got to hang into here for another 30 seconds, Cluffy. Yeah. And inside, yes, you are. Because when you've done it, what a sense. Even if you don't feel better physically, and you will in a day or 6 time, emotionally, mentally, you are going to feel so much better. You've achieved something. You're going to get that little bit of pride. And then if you say to yourself, well, I could do just a little bit better, maybe 30 seconds longer, maybe one more rep, maybe just a little bit heavier at that first rep or that second thing. So it's not always enjoyable, But it's like, I mean, I give you an example. My son gave me this lovely exercise to do on one of these bloody air bikes where your arms move and your legs move and you're pushing it and pulling and you're pumping up and down. He gave me this wonderful exercise which lasts for 20 minutes. And it stinks. You do the first one and you think, oh, I don't like this. And I got 3 more to go because I split up into 5-minute segments. So it's 20 minutes. And you go, And every time I do it, when I get to the second 5 minutes, I say, well, I could if I wanted to. I can give up after this. I'll just do the 10 minutes. And as it gets closer and closer, you start thinking, well, don't wimp out on this. You've only got 2 more to do. Just do 1 more. I'll let you off on the last one. Just do 1 more, Cluffy. And I'm talking to myself like this out loud inside. And I do the 1 more. And I get to the point, I can't do this any longer. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. And a little voice comes in. It's only 1 more. It's only 5 minutes of your life to put this through. And what will it feel like when you finish? Yeah, you're going to be tired, Cluffy. You're going to wobble a little bit on your legs because you're getting on a bit. But you're going to feel so proud of yourself by going there. And that's that feeling, like the feeling of the wishful field. I know I'm going to get there. I can feel it now. And it just helps me go through that last 5 minutes. And here's the kicker to this one. I was talking to my son about that, and he said, Dad, why don't you just drop the revs a little bit? And I thought, that's a good idea. Yeah, I said, Daniel, yeah, that's a good idea. He said, and add another 10 minutes on. And really get into shape. I thought, oh, cheers. Thank you, Daniel. That's brilliant. But it's good advice. Because it's like putting a deposit into the bank. And it's incremental interest, isn't it? You're slowly getting fitter. And you will be fitter as you get older. You'll be able to move. And because you're eating the right food and drinking the right liquid, you're fueling your body to be able to move. And because of all of that, you're probably resting in the right places and the right times. That's sleep. Maybe you're doing more things like meditation, reading more, listening more. But you're reading and listening to the better part of noise, because there's so much bloody noise around which is not doing you any good, not doing me any good. I have to cut it out. So there you go. Absolutely nothing to do with NLP, neuro-linguistic program, nothing to do with hypnosis, nothing to do with anything like what people consider to be personal development. But it is the core, the foundation. And each one of those, I mean, if we were struggling to go to the gym for a particular reason, sometimes we have an issue around the gym. Maybe it's, conscious of my body. Maybe it's, well, I don't like doing it alone, or I don't do this, or I'm not good enough. And all those, each one of these will highlight an area of your life that you can now work on. Because when you do, you're going to get better. And then, if there is something, and here's like, in sort of conclusion, if there is something that is highlighted now, and you say, well, it's a great podcast, Paul. I hope you do say that. In fact, it's such a good podcast, Paul, I'm going to share it to everyone I know. You could say that. And in fact, Cluffy, I haven't subscribed. So I'm going to press that subscribe button so I get more of this, so I can share it more often. You could say all of that, couldn't you? But, no but. What if, that's a better one, what if you did all of that and you think, but I need a little bit of help? Because it has highlighted an area of my life that I need to work on. Maybe it is that imposter syndrome has suddenly got a little bit brighter. I need to work on that. Or my OCD has suddenly, I've noticed it. Or, do you know what? I feel so down that I'm finding it really difficult to do any of this bloody stuff. Right. You email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. You email me. And I will guide you to a process. I will guide you to a hypnosis track maybe. But what I will do also is I'll look at it and find out how can we do an episode around that issue. So not only you get the benefit of that, but so many other people do. And that is it's a wonderful bit of selfless service. You're asking something for yourself, but by doing that, you're creating something for other people. You're helping me create something for other people. You're getting my grey matter working because I need to keep it working. Get me thinking. So you'll be doing me a favour. Thank you. Did any of that make bloody sense? Did it? I hope so. I really do hope so. It made sense. It makes sense to me because, by the way, just so you know, in this wonderful, perfect world, I'm working on my sleep quite a lot of the time. I'm working on my intake of fuel. You've told me about the water, but there's other stuff. And I'm sort of getting the gym right. But I do know sometimes I cruise. So I've got to work out, just get that extra little bit. Work out. Sometimes it's not an issue that's stopping me doing it. I just need to find the value, the motivation, a process of just getting me to think. And that's one of the things on that bloody air bike. I can think of the feeling of what it'd be like when I do it. And that's enough to give you the motivation to finish. So it's a constant, not struggle, but it's a constant focus of attention. And sometimes each one of those will bring out what you need to work on. So do please email me if there's anything that you feel you need help on. I'll be there for you. Because I want you to achieve your dreams. I really do. And to achieve your dreams, you need to be in the best possible health. So you can enjoy the experience more than ever. And then share it with other people. Bloody hell, why not? Fancy having an intention of having more fun than you can stand and bring joy and love to everyone else. Can't be bad, can it? Okay, my friend. Thank you for being with me. Appreciate it. Love the time we spent together. I love your input. And the input, email me. Now, I love your input. Pressing play is as much input as I need. Get those earbuds in or whatever you got. And let's find wonderful ways to enjoy life. So again, it's Paul. Personal Development Unplugged. Breaking down the complicated. Talking about stuff that I think I know about. But remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not any of that stuff. And I'm a hypnotherapist, but I'm not your hypnotherapist. But I know a lot of stuff that works. Science is catching up on all this stuff because it just works. Have fun. And I'll speak to you real soon. See you, my friend. Bye. Time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.